Hello again. Um, so I watched Nosferatu, and I loved it. So I would like to talk about recommendations if you love that style of movie. Let's get right into it. Let's get the obvious choices straight out of the way. Give me 1 second. Obvious choice. Obvious. Obvious. Okay, so so these obviously are like, they don't have to be like set in that time period, but are very like in that fantasy, dark, goth atmospheric. We're gonna go with The Crow, one of my favorite movies of all time. So we have this, and it doesn't have to be vampiric. It's just like that whole storyline of dark, moody, unnerving, unsettling, like what, and you know, so we have this one's more, again, if you've seen this, I love, 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 love this movie. Shape of Water, me, obvious choice. And of course we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. Um, we're gonna get into that in a second. Phantom of the Opera. I put this in here because of course, again, it's got that whole unrequited love to it. I mean, she still should have ended up with Eric the Phantom, but that is just my opinion. And then we have a more current one with Crimson Peak. I love this movie. I actually haven't seen this movie since I watched it in theaters, and I loved it. I don't know if it will live up to the seeing this on the big screen as it, normally on like regular screen. Like I just loved this movie when I saw it in theaters, so I'm terrified to watch it again. Okay, so into Nosferatu, we're going to start off with, of course, we have the 1970, is this 79? Yeah, 1979 Nosferatu. You can find the 1922 version anywhere, so I would watch that. So we have this one that you could watch, it's basically the same story. But if you don't know that this Nosferatu actually is it's a remake of Dracula, because a long time ago, that when they made this movie, they could not secure the rights to Dracula. All they did was change the location to Germany, made him, his appearance, his name, changed his name to Nosferatu instead of Dracula. The story changed just a little bit, but Bram Stoker's widow was like, and tried to have all of the copies that were done with this Nosferatu destroyed, but they weren't, and we have Nosferatu now. And if you haven't seen it, Shadow of the Vampire talks about this, or deals with that. So I think you should watch this after you've seen Nosferatu to see, like, it's kind of, because Nosferatu is a remake of Bram Stoker's Dracula, so I don't understand why people are having weird feelings about it. And it also has William Dafoe, who plays Count Orlok, and the story is like they're trying to film this movie, and they're not sure if Count Orlok is actually a vampire or not. Like, I don't know, it's a very slow-paced movie, and it's a slow burn, but it still gives you that like romanticized gothic sort of storytelling, and I would recommend watching this if you've seen the movie. So we're going to get into other types of movies that fit that bill. I don't own this movie and I haven't watched it, but I know it's available on Tubi, so I should watch it. It's called Gothic. So we'll put that on the list. It's on Tubi, so I'm gonna either have to try to find it or just watch it on Tubi, but I try to find physical copies before I watch them. And then here's this one. It has Mia Sara, Daughter of Darkness. Again, it's got that whole, haunted by cryptic dreams, old graveyards, and morbid castles in Romania, seeking the father she never knew, she unveils a living nightmare. Kathy is innocent prey for the sensuous Gregor. Who's Robert Reynolds? I don't know. He lures her into hidden chambers where she confronts her father, a vampire prince, when Gregor, I honestly don't know how to pronounce that, tries to seduce Kathy to mix his blood with hers for eternity his beloved daughter from mutilation and death. For this, the prince is condemned by a vampire tribunal. Escaping the chambers, Kathy begs help of a handsome embassy attaché, John Devlin. Together, they try to free her tortured, ravaged father and escape their ultimate destiny. So again, vampires, it's got that whole thing. It's not set in those, like, in the 1800s. It's more modern, but it doesn't have to be set in that period to be considered a gothic, watch this one. I need to watch it myself, so we'll put that there. This one I also haven't seen, but I know it fits. Dr. Frankenstein invites you to meet his newest creation, and it is The Bride. This one has Jennifer Beals and Sting, so this one you should put there if you want that. This is semi-obvious choice, but we got a Sleepy Hollow. Very, very got heavy on, like, the macabre and dark melancholy, setting. Sleepy Hollow. I would put this on there. It's more, it's very, again, more modern, but I would consider this as, something to watch if you liked Nosferatu. So we have Edward Scissorhands, one of my favorite movies of all time. Back to the Frankenstein, we have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, with Robert De Niro, and Helena Bonham Carter. So she is also in this. So we have this one. This one I haven't seen either. The Woman in Black. Again, some of these are not going to be obvious choices, but choices that, if you still want that whole atmospheric, cinematic, universe. The Woman in Black. I love this movie. This is so good. Snow White, A Tale of Terror. I remember watching this on Sci-Fi and I loved it, and I've loved it since, so definitely watch this one. Put this one, up there. And then we're going to finish it off with 3 of these. So this is a random one I found, and it is more like a play as seen on public television by Masterpiece Theater, and I would love to check it out. But it is Dracula on Masterpiece Theater. I would like to see how this was done. So we have that. I love this movie. I love, love, love this movie. Saw it in theaters, and it was a birthday gift when it came out on Blu-ray, and I loved it. I haven't seen it in so long, but it is so good. And not anybody talks about it. They say it's horrible. It is not horrible. He ends up finding his love again. Like, the way he does it, I cannot speak highly enough about this movie. But Dracula Untold, love it. As you can tell, I love my vampire Dracula movies. And last but not least, I don't know if anybody's actually ever seen this show, but I saw it when it aired on TV, and it only ever had 1 season, and it's this. Oh my god, was this so, like, dark and melodic, and it had that it's just dark, and it is done differently to me, and I wish it got more seasons than this first one, but this was just amazing. Like, I think this deserves a rewatch, and there isn't that many episodes. I think there's like 8 or 9. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's only 10 episodes. So I'm sad that it only had it's a 10 episode season, but I would, if you see this, pick it up, watch it. It is so, so good. But anyway, these would be everything I would recommend if you like that whole, Nosferatu type vibe in it. So anyway, have a good weekend. Toodles.